Hello, my name is Charlotte Kloss, and I was asked to do this assignment for elements of intercultural communication. I was asked to reflect on the depiction of American culture in the reading Body Ritual Among Nekarima by Minor. This particular reading is satire. Basically, this particular gentleman satirizes American culture by using a story based on supposedly a group of Indian people from a different part of the culture. And what he's trying to seemingly communicate to all of us is that if we were to visit a different part of the world, how is communication going to be different for every person that's visiting a different part of the world. In fact, in this particular reading, he depicts mundane practices that, quite frankly, are very bizarre and kind of ritualistic and quite alarming in my personal opinion. And they highlight cultural biases and different things that we would find alarming in our particular culture in America. And what he uses as examples that often are aligned with some type of dental hygiene. So in giving my opinion and my reaction to this particular article I was asked to speak to, again, it was a little bit concerning and frightening as I read it, and I was a little bit even confused as to the assignment because it seemed very unique and disturbing. As I continued reading and then learned as to what the point was in terms of this gentleman satirizing what happened, I realized that communication is extraordinary in different parts of the world. And not only do we need to appreciate different people's culture and their backgrounds, how they were raised, how they were taught to communicate, the things that they were obviously reared around and a part of, but also to consider how and what we communicate in our own culture. So the next thing I was asked to do is then take 2 minutes to describe a communication pattern or a practice or a ritual in the event of our particular culture and how it might be seen from an outside observer. And so I chose something that would be similar in terms of the hygiene world, not using the oral hygiene, etc. But if you were to go to a different part of the country and ask to have your nails, whether male or female, done or taken care of, they might find that as odd and unnecessary. In America, getting your nails, quote unquote, manicured is generally considered a good thing, especially in our culture, as it shows proper nail hygiene as being something that's professional. If you have your nails taken care of, well trimmed, well shaped, that's essentially promoting that you have good health and that you're aware of details, especially in the professional world. So that was the I guess particular thing that I picked to draw upon, so that it would be a parallel to something that might be odd if you were to go to a different part of the world. They might find that mundane or unnecessary or maybe sacrilegious, whatever that might be. In terms of how this communication pattern, ritual, or event is connected to the United States cultural worldview, it's in America very common, especially in the women's, traditionally for the women in our American culture. It's been something that has evolved over the years. It's a large money-making opportunity for many nail salons. It has actually introduced a lot of different people in different parts of the world coming into America and using different nail art and different things as well. So it is something that's very common in America. It, of course, may not be if we traveled somewhere else, so that's why I picked that. I was supposed to spend 1 to 2 minutes describing how this pattern or practice may have changed throughout history. Clearly it has changed throughout history because of the chemicals that they use, the polish, the art, the culture would obviously have different things change with what you would put on your nails, what would be appropriate, what would be not appropriate. In the early 1930s or 40s, people would go and typically just have a very simple manicure performed, and oftentimes that would be for also men and women, because that was something they would want to take care of in terms of their nails. Now in our culture in 2024, you can see all kinds of different things being done, eccentric, maybe something that would be considered an artistic thing, but on the spectrum of nail artwork, it will vary, and it's largely dependent on what part of the country you live in, and of course your age, and what you would find appropriate or not appropriate, especially being who you worked for and the demographic of age and all of that. So in terms of the last point, I was asked to briefly share my evaluation of these changes as beneficial or detrimental to United States culture. And then I'll obviously pull in one of my citations to have a credible source. I chose to mention the American Academy of Dermatology. That is a great resource for my citation, because they clearly speak to how important it is to take care of yourself, your hygiene, but in terms of your nail care, you have to be very mindful when you go to particular salons, because you can get infections, although you could also be known as to not having taken care of your nails. So really it's not necessarily a detriment to a human being, it's moderation, like as to everything else about our health. So in terms of it being beneficial or detrimental to United States culture, it clearly is detrimental in the sense that there has been a lot of clinics shut down or asked to not use certain chemicals or certain ideals around the particular nail products that they're making available, because someone or many people rather have been tasked with having to go to the doctor after having a bad experience and that type of thing. So in terms of it being beneficial, again, it is a money-making opportunity for many people that have started salons, especially post-COVID. People now are jumping on the bandwagon around making sure that you have a clean environment in terms of going to get your nails taken care of. So it really is dependent on how you look at it and which individual you are speaking to, in terms of it being part of an opportunity to earn a living. Nail technicians actually are able to go and get a schooling for this type of thing, and then they can even open up their own clinic or shop. And in terms of having it as a business, many people are able to make a very good living, because it is definitely widespread, and many people do want to have a nice, clean, manicured look. So that was the parallel that I chose, in terms of it being very odd if perhaps you traveled somewhere else. Someone may not want to even consider someone touching their nails, but in America it's definitely widespread, and something that most people find attractive and necessary. Thank you so much.